Meanwhile, people are pushing back now on the notion of Chris Christie as some type of mean guy. I'm surprised we didn't hear this story earlier because this is really, really exculpatory as to that charge. The Washington Post did some real digging here, ladies and gentlemen. And apparently back in 1980, when Chris Christie was a mediocre catcher on the Livingston High School baseball team, word got out that a new kid, a guy named Marty Ritt, in the middle of the year was going to be transferring to Livingston High School. He was a baseball player. His position? Catcher. And worse than that,
he was good.
And as told by Scott Parsons, a star pitcher on the team, Scott Parsons was invited over to the Christie home to consult with Chris Christie about what his next move should be. Quote, Parsons says, the family was considering consulting attorneys to see if this could be blocked. He told me if that happened, there was a chance that the whole team would have to forfeit the spring season, and he asked me what my thoughts were. In that instance, writes the Washington Post, Chris Christie passed up the chance to play legal hardball. Todd Christie, Chris Christie's brother, said his father, Bill Christie, had the idea of trying to block Ritt's transfer legally. He said Chris Christie thought his dad was wrong, given the apparent risks that the season might be forfeited and the team and the town might be turned against their family. So, in other words, the Washington Post writes a 3-page article, 4-page, 5-page article, arguing that Chris Christie's a good guy because he didn't want to sue to prevent this kid from transferring into his school so that he could play the starting role of catcher. Because he didn't want this kid and his family to go through the tumult of not being able to go to a school near their neighborhood, which they were moving in. No, wait a second. No, I'm sorry. That's not why. He did it because it may come back on him that the season would be canceled and the town might turn against him and his family. What a big heart. Chris Christie was able to make a really self-serving calculus even back in high school. So he must not be a jerk today.
Other kids might have been much more impulsive and stupid, but he wasn't.
No.
That's a good person.
And as a trade-off, he was named team captain.
Oh, my God.
So that he could put it on his resume.
That is funny.
And that must be, ladies and gentlemen, why even though he was snubbed last year, Chris Christie has been reinvited to CPAC 2014. And, you know, when Josh Orton came on the program a couple of weeks ago to talk about what he thought Christie needed to do next, we are now seeing Christie do that. Part of that memo that he sent in response to the allegations by David Wildstein's lawyer was to attack the New York Times. So now their response has been to attack MSNBC, to attack the liberal bias in the New York Times, and to head to CPAC. What percentage of his speech at CPAC do you think will be about how the liberal media has completely gone off the rails? They will do anything to attack true conservatives. They have a problem with development that would bring money to developers, but also to ordinary New Jerseyites.
And I didn't sue to stay on the baseball team, so I will stack my integrity against anyone's.
I'm the type of guy who would never sue to keep a better catcher out of my baseball team. if I thought that the rest of the town would get mad at me for doing it. And then the season would be forfeited and I wouldn't be able to play anyways because I was going to graduate this year. I would never do that. That's the type of guy I am. I'm stronger than the storm. So's my family. I don't know if you saw that ad.